Freedom Fighters, I'm coming back at you with a Manic Monday episode, and damn, is it manic. So, we got all kinds of different stuff going on. Trump's back on the warpath. He's rearming Ukraine. He's dedicated to sending more weapons and more money to Ukraine, and so is our Congress and the rest of our government. They all just voted a continued resolution to give more aid and weaponry and money to Ukraine. And what happened to the whole, the war's going to be over in 24 hours if I'm president, and, me and Putin get along so well, and all this stuff. And then now he's totally flipped script and said, something's happened to that guy. He's gone crazy. And, he said the other day, like, oh, he's feeding us a bunch of bullshit and he doesn't really want peace. Well, yeah, I guess you start seeming crazy when they're bombing the heck out of your country and another country is sending them weaponry to commit attacks on their soil. And at what point do you see them as the enemy? And you just expect them to fold over and have some great relationship and just come to the table and walk away, with losing ground and the safety and sovereignty of his country. And then they also sent like 500 billion more dollars to Israel. Um, I don't. That can't be a billion. That doesn't even sound right. But probably 500 million. It was 500 something. But more money going to the Middle East, more weaponry, and more continued war. That's always in the budget. That's always able to go down. But how much did they give you? Right? They locked you up, shut your business down, and gave you a meager $1,200 check, told you to sit down and shut up and, take the whole thing. But the big news here is the whole Epstein backlash, and everyone seems to be going crazy on this, and Trump has, he's doubled down and backtracked over and over, and he's going crazy on this whole thing. But it came out that, oh no, he's got the deep state cornered, and he's blackmailing the deep state, which was just crazy. This is what AJ was talking about, and I don't even know if I talked about that yet, but it was surprising coming from AJ, because he's actually talked about the Q-tards. He's talked about the hopium and the psyops that they put out there, and how they got all these, Q people to believe in the plan, and how it's all, going down behind the scenes. And that's pretty much what he's trying to sell now. That Trump's in control and he has the deep state blackmailed and all this stuff. And then they came out and resaid, oh no, the document exists, but now it's all modified by Democrats, and it's all fake and all this stuff. And he called his supporters from the very beginning in the base in 2015, from when he came down the escalator. He's like, well, it looks like my past supporters fell for this hook, line, and sinker. There was a great video on the PBD podcast of Vinny and Adam having a back and forth. I want to post this video. I don't know if I'm going to be able to. You need to look up this clip, but it was the most perfect example of, Vinny was asking him, like, and he's like, I'm not, he's a staunch Trump supporter, if you've seen his videos and his channel before, but, he came at it from a good angle, where you have these blind followers now. Essentially, there is a Trump cult, where they just go all out for Trump, no matter what. And there's still people who are like, no, we can hold Trump accountable. And he was like, that's all I'm saying. It's a constructive criticism of, you can't sweep this one under the rug. Like, we will not allow you to sweep this one under the rug. And Adam came out and was like, but at what cost? And he was like, if this brings down the whole government and all that, and that's what we talked about previously, that this has the complications of bringing the whole system down. And I think that look on Dan Bongino's face was the sickness of, he knew, they know the truth. They saw the videos, they saw the documents, and they've been briefed. We can't let it out. This brings down everybody. This collapses government. And I did a video about the contingency of government, and that's all they're about, the continuance of government and keeping it afloat and keeping the system going. And they're like, it all comes down here. We'll be in full unrest within days, if not weeks, if we release this information. um, Everyone would be going down. And talking about people going down, I mean, Tulsi recently came out with an interview on Fox and said that she has uncovered the plot leading all the way up to Obama to rig the 2016 election, or when Trump first got elected, to say that there was a hack in the election and basically commit a coup. And it involves, Brennan and Comey and the whole, the thing. We've already gone all over this multiple times, right? The Rosenstein and Lisa Page, Peter Strzok, the whole, the system within the FBI and the deep state and the FOIA courts, and all the secret agents and, black suits going in there and pulling, who knows what. But I can't even get excited anymore about any of this stuff because they've sucked all the joy out of me. All the hope is gone. I've already said all that, and you should know damn well by now nothing is gonna happen to these people. Yet meanwhile, you so much as jaywalk, you'll find yourself in a courtroom. You'll be explaining yourself to the judge. Oh, Mister Judge, I was feet away from the crosswalk. I was just down the street a little bit, and cameras are flashing everywhere, and you're on video, and full on police state, and they're like, well, here you are not walking in the crosswalk, and you're going to be sentenced to community service and a $250 fine or whatever it is. But God forbid you actually, like exercising your God-given rights without permission, just being free, owning what you want, and they just trample on the Constitution. The whole process of it, from getting the warrant. Oh, we suspect this guy has a full auto or is building ghost guns or whatever. And there was just a case of this. I'm going to have to post this as well. This guy just got arrested. Another Dexter Taylor case that we've talked about multiple times. The guy who's serving 10 years in New York prison for building his own firearms. Well, this guy supposedly had like hundreds. And, they're accusing him of manufacturing these, ghost guns on a mass level. But regardless, I mean, that's not a crime. There are no gun crimes. And you got this and that video I did a while back called Behind Every Blade of Grass was exactly this. And I think people were harping on me saying like, oh man, like, with 3D printed guns, like guns are everywhere in America. And I'm like, dude, no, how many people do you know are 3D printing, firearms? And then I also did a video responding to Tim Pool and Ian Crossland, where that was Ian's whole argument. Like, oh, government can't control us anymore because we have 3D printers and stuff like that. And we're beyond the point of, being able to be governed. But they control us the same way they do every other law on the books, illegal, unconstitutional laws on the books. They kick your door down, put a bullet in your head, or they somehow catch you, capture you alive, throw you in prison for the rest of your life, making an example, and make everybody else who thinks about, hey, I can just get the blueprints off the web and 3D print a firearm. Well, maybe I'll think twice about that, because the tyrannical government that we're already living under is gonna door kick and put you in the dirt. But yeah, I mean, the whole thing, man, getting the whole suppressor and SBR thing that recently passed in the big beautiful bill. We talked about that. And the cops willing to enforce it all. And they'll do whatever whenever they want. There's no rules in war, which is another video that I just did. They are at war with you. They are at war with the Constitution. It should be very crystal clear, at this point. And nothing's going to happen to them. They're going to continue to do it, and the American populace is just going to sit by, and it appears just allow it all to happen. And we'll see what happens with these investigations. But like I said, I'm not holding up any hope. You have these people dead to rights so many times. Fauci or whatever lying to Congress. Um, Hillary Clinton during the Benghazi hearings, and her phone smashing the Blackberries and bleach spitting the server. And they're like, yeah, did you clean the server? And she's like, what, with a cloth? We said it over and over, man. Clapper. When they're like, oh, are you spying on American citizens? And he's sitting there squirming like a freaking weasel. And he's like, oh, not willingly. All these people that we have on there, and they just openly lie, or they'll act like it was an accident or act stupid. Um, the ATF is on video filming FFL files to create a legal database, and then you approach them with that, and they just do did we do that? Did I do that? I don't know. Is that Urkel? I don't even remember who did that, but that's literally how they operate. They go and do whatever they want, and they just pull. Did I do that? Duncan Lemp, same thing. They straight up shot him through his window in the dead of night while he's sleeping next to his pregnant girlfriend with a thermal scope, and they're just like, "Did I do that?" Oh well, and then they investigate themselves, and nothing is done. Brian Milowski, again, selling firearms or whatnot. They come in, kick down his door, kill him. Just another, whoopsie daisy. Did I do that? And on and on. But we got this other big news of the CEO kiss cam scandal or whatnot, which I'm actually going to get into that in a further video. So stay tuned if you want my analysis or whatever on that whole thing. I was thinking about it the other day, and I was like, I got to go a little more in depth in that situation. But yeah, I'm probably going to leave it there. I mean, we'll see what Trump ends up doing with all this stuff. But again, I don't hold out hope, man. If he was the real deal, he would have gone scorched earth the moment he got his second opportunity. This is it, man. This second presidency, you need it to go balls to the wall. And we're already, 6 months in, and it ain't looking good. And he's going scorched earth already. But he's going scorched earth on us. He's calling us, crazed past supporters, who fell for it all and are conspiracy theorists, and, all this stuff. After all the stuff we've seen, and all his complainings of the deep state and all these people. But we're just, falling for Democrat hoaxes, I guess. But, man, till the next one, you know what it is, man. We are on our own. Nobody's coming to save us. So get right with God, because only God can save you. Freedom fighters out.